thanks to each and every one of you in this room today. Before I start my address, let me ask you a question. How many of you feel your careers are not certain? Majority of us, right? We walked into this room having that churn in the stomach. What is going to happen tomorrow morning? Monday morning. You don't know what happened to those 12,000 people at Oracle could happen to any of us. But then are we prepared if something like that comes our way? That's a question. And that's what this book is all about. We live in an era of uncertainty and fear, right? You all agree with me. And career anxiety is at the heart of it. Why career anxiety is at the heart of it? Is because our social standing is linked to our career. So the first question somebody asks you when they shake hands with you is, oh, what do you do? And that question is enough to take away your confidence. You look at the headlines in the morning newspaper. Yesterday it was Meta's turn for laying off close to 8,500 people. So at one end, you have Wipro who's decided, oh, we're not hiring freshers this year. And then we're going ahead and laying off. And then AI is making huge inroads. Analysts say 300 million jobs are going to be impacted by AI before 2030. It's huge. No governments, no corporations, no individuals are even prepared for this tidal wave. And this is going to hit us definitely. The 3 reasons why I wrote this book, I shall uncover them for you today. But apart from that, why I wrote this book, who's this book for, what is inside of this book, I want to explain all of that to you. Recently, there was a feature article that I saw on many of the other channels, including First Post, was 40 is the new retirement age. A lot of us probably think 40 is when I will buy my second home. Here, there's a possibility that your first home could be taken away at 40. And that is how bad and sad this is. Students, I see some students in the room. So students probably thinking, oh, this is the career that I want to get into. This is the dream company that I want to work for. This is my job. This is probably the job that I would like to have. They have all those ambitions, but then there's a worry. Will I be able to get there? There's so much of expectation from the society, from the parents. People are already in jobs, right? They're probably worried about 2 things. 1, the juniors replacing them. 2, machines replacing. This is happening at an alarming pace. People who've established their career, senior professionals, 20, 25 years of experience, are probably questioning themselves now. Do I have the skill set to stay relevant till I retire? That's a question that's on top of their mind. They probably say, can I just hang in there for another 5 years? I'll just see my daughters or probably children go through their colleges. At least until that point, I want a job. Because the first thing that anybody asks you is, where do you work? And that is enough to shake your ground. And you don't know what to answer. It just takes away your confidence. Let me make a personal confession. The first seed that went into my making was when disruption happened in 2001. I was in the US. I was working on an H-1B visa. Walked into an office on a Monday morning, 8 o'clock. I get the same email that many of the Oracle employees got. You're laid off. Thank you. And there in the US, within 10 minutes, you're asked to pack off and leave. There's no conversation about anything else. They'll say, rest of it, you will get it on email, bye. Just hand over your laptop and leave. I didn't know how to react. I was 25 at that time. But before I left for the US, right, one thing my father did, he made handwritten notes of various life scenarios. If you lose your passport, what would you do? If you lose your traveler's checks, what would you do? If this would happen, what would you do? So he'd written 25 scenarios. If your baggage didn't arrive, how do you survive for 1 week? All these life situations. There was one situation he never wrote in that frequently asked questions or the docket that he gave me to read on the flight. What will you do when you lose your job? No fathers or no mothers, no uncles, no aunts who give advice on careers have an answer for that. Luckily, I was also pursuing an MBA in parallel, so I could pivot at that point and say, it's okay. If I don't have a job for a year and a half, that's fine. I'll get back to school as a full-time student. Then I'll re-emerge once I see blue skies. A year later, the worst was over. So I was able to come back, find a job. There are two things that I learned from this incident. One needs to constantly learn. There's no end to learning. The learn, earn, retire generation was over. That's when I realized this is over. Second, you need resilience and adaptability. When things like that happen, you should think on your feet and say, how can I quickly pivot and do something else that will bring more meaning? How can I add more skills? Whatever that is. And financially, third, financially be prepared. A lot of us run low on savings, but then that was a big lesson for me that stayed with me for the rest of my life. I'll quickly move on to the second incident that actually told me that we are not prepared as a society. Fast forward to 2009, Satyam Computer Services was caught in a financial fraud. CEO confessed. 25,000 people were let go of at that point. 25,000 people. Honestly, I wasn't worried because this has happened to me early on in life and I was really not worried. I was probably the one who was so cool. I said, people, do you want your resume to be polished? I'm doing a resume workshop. Please come. I was giving them confidence. A lot of husband and wives were working together in the organization. It was so sad to see both their incomes are going to be lost. A lot of people were clinging on to their managers. They were clinging on to their job titles and roles. I went and told them, I said, why are you clinging on to any of this? I said, this doesn't make sense. This is the biggest baggage that will prevent you from reinventing yourself. So quickly, that was an incident that once again told me people are unprepared. There's so much of fear. There's a lot of anxiety in the mind of people. And what do we do about this? Quickly forward to 2023. My colleagues from the organization are here. They're all laughing and smiling today, but it was never easy to laugh and smile back then. As a communications head, 2023 November, on Thanksgiving Day, I received a call from the CEO saying that you need to start working on this. I said, what is this? All such projects have secret code names. So I was only given the code name, but nothing else. Then I was invited to a late night call. I logged on the call and they said 8,000 people, many plants, a lot of employees are going to be asked to leave. I'm like, okay, this is happening for the third time. I see a pattern. I see a pattern in organizations and individuals. When I say pattern in organizations, they just want to hire and fire. Pattern in individuals, I mean people are not ready when such things happen, when they hear such news. That was another unnerving incident. I said, I can't keep quiet. I went to the HR and I asked them a couple of questions. I said, we don't have outplacement services in India. I said, what do you think that we can do for our people? I said, globally, we never have conversations on career. I said, is it possible that we introduce this conversation on how to build a career, how to reinvent, pivot? I said, I'll do a workshop for 8 weeks, 45 minutes. HR said, you're going to spread fear and panic in the organization. There was already panic and fear in the organization. What more can I spread? That day I realized our colleges never prepare us for the real world. They may teach you subjects. People can come out of Ivy Leagues. People can be talented. But there's nothing that they're prepared for when they take on a career. A lot of us today chase jobs, but we don't build careers. That's the sad part of it. That was on my LinkedIn post yesterday as well. I said, we don't build careers, we only build jobs. We just go for titles, we go for money, we go for higher position, we go for a bigger brand. But don't realize that you have to build your personal brand as well. Now, coming to the book, who is it useful for? Students in the last year of college, it'll be extremely helpful for them. See, we're trying to build a career with a roadmap that was prepared in 1950. Imagine you navigating the streets with a map that was built. And when you drive around, you realize that this is not even relevant. I mean, where am I driving? Where am I going? Times have changed, but then we still have the old map holding on to it. We'll have to turn on to a mentor, a coach, and a GPS for us to intelligently start navigating the world around us. That is one of the primary reasons this book was written. A lot of early career, mid-career are probably caught in a plateau. They don't know if they should pivot. They don't know if they should get on the S-curve so that they could quickly reinvent and change industries or probably domains. They don't know. So this book is going to teach you some of that. A lot of senior professionals are also struggling in terms of what skills do I pick up, how do I stay relevant, how do I reinvent myself. So this book is also going to be of big help to them. Next, coming to the material that is inside the book. This book has been simplified in such a way that everybody from a beginner to a seasoned professional can actually read this book. There are a lot of questions that have been introduced in the book deliberately so that you all pause. It's like a speed breaker. Yeah, you all pause, you all reflect, and then say, okay, what is it that I can do? It's pretty much in a workbook format that this has been written. We've also introduced examples and illustrations to help you understand complex topics. There are some complex topics about career models and probably career alphabets. So for you to understand, a lot of examples and illustrations have been used. Case studies have also been introduced in this book so that we get to have a diversity of profession. We're just not talking about IT. We have doctors featured on this book. We've got people with side hustles who've been featured on this book. So that will give you an opportunity to see what is it that I can do and how is it that they had their journey. So this is definitely going to be an interesting read. I don't want you to leave this room with fear or anxiety or uncertainty. Today, when you leave this room, I want you to feel, yes, I have the confidence. There's no self-doubt. Throw the self-doubt in the garbage bin. I have confidence. I have a book that's going to probably tell me what I can do. The help doesn't end with the book. You can continue to ask other people in this room whom you're going to meet on the panel as well so that they can help you continue your journey ahead. Buy this book for yourself. Take this book as a copy for your niece, nephews. Give it to a friend or a family member who's been impacted by these uncertainties. With that, I thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to stand in front of you.